What's up everybody, it's Seth from Fowler Customs, and today I'm going to be doing another Fowler Customs Snupps Q&A. First off, I just want to thank the Snupps app for sponsoring this video. If you guys haven't heard of Snupps, make sure to check it out. It's basically an app where you can store collections of your favorite things online on digital shelves so other people could check them out and appreciate them too. I use Snupps for storing images of my sneaker collection because of course this is a sneaker channel, so what else would I be storing? But more on that later. Recently what I've been doing is I've been putting up a picture every week that basically just says, ask me any question you want, and then you guys have been responding through Snupps in the comment section. And so obviously this Q&A is just me answering your questions. So if you guys want to be featured on the next Q&A video, make sure to download the Snupps app. There'll be a link in the description below. Give me a follow at Fowler Customs, and make sure to comment your questions right underneath my latest question and answer post. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first question comes to us from Joey Calabria, and his question is, how many pairs of shoes did you have when you were a teenager? That depends. I mean, if you're talking about from when I was 13 to when I was 19, how many pairs I had total, I have no idea, but I'm assuming you're talking about at the peak of my sneaker collection. Probably like 10. I didn't have too many when I was a teen, and that's probably because I didn't have money. The next question is from Tyler. What's your favorite band or genre in general? Honestly, I don't have a favorite band at the moment. There's a lot of artists I like. I'm sure a lot of you guys like the same ones. Obviously, Kendrick's album was crazy, so everyone's on him right now. I went to a show on Sunday for a guy named Lil Pump. I think he's a mumble rapper, and I think he's only 16 to be honest with you. And he was pretty solid. I honestly hadn't heard of him until recently, so I've kind of been on him. I've always had a soft spot for like pop punk a little bit, so I'm always kind of dabbling in that. Not too much anymore though, but it's still there a little bit. Next question's from Zach Doma. Any tips for someone just entering the sneaker game? Don't spend all your money at once trying to build up a sneaker collection. It'll happen eventually. And also don't fall for the hype, because a lot of times after a couple weeks, no one even remembers the shoes. So just make sure you're buying what you like. Alex Ebmeyer asks, since your favorite Jordan is the Jordan 1, what brand would you like to see do a collaboration with Jordan Brand on the 1, and what colors would you like it to be? I'd kind of like it to be a brand that doesn't really do anything with fashion, maybe like Coca-Cola or something like that. That would be kind of a cool look. And honestly, with Jordan 1s, they just look really, really clean with red on them, so I wouldn't mind seeing a Coca-Cola Jordan 1 collab. Brooks Black says, what Jordan 1 should they retro next? Shadow 1s. The next question is from Frank, and he asks, where did your sneaker interest come from, and do you have an interest in clothing as big as in sneakers? So I talked about this a little bit in my last Q&A. I started working at Vans in like middle school and high school, and they had this crazy good discount, so I started just collecting Vans on Vans on Vans. And then when I had a lot of pairs of Vans, I started looking into other brands, and I started customizing some of the Vans that I had, and that's sort of what got me sucked into it, because eventually I found Jordan Brand and it was over from there. And clothing brand wise, I don't really have any favorites. I'm definitely not as involved in like clothing and that sort of end of the fashion spectrum as I am with sneakers, but I'm definitely interested in it. Kashal Cawthon says, hey Seth, huge fan of yours from Plymouth, England. That's awesome, man. Hope you're coming to SneakerCon London, because I'll be there. Hopefully I get to see you. Been watching your vids since 2K. Nice. My question is, if you were in control of sneaker collaborations and you had to choose a brand or rapper to release a collab with the Adidas Ultra Boost, who would you pick? You know what I'd really like to see, and this might be kind of a cop-out answer, but I'd really like to see like a Yeezy Ultra Boost. Like none of this ribbed outsole stuff. I want to see like a Kanye Ultra Boost and what he would do with that. And if you comment it's the triple white Ultra Boost or the cream Ultra Boost, you're wrong. Those are not collaborations. I want to see a Yeezy Ultra Boost. Lee Sampson asks a bunch of questions apparently, but his first question is, what's your take on the big three passing on Lonzo Ball? Who should take him? Chinese brand maybe? I'm sure a lot of you guys have been following this and have your own opinions, but my opinion is that I think Lonzo's dad, LeVar, kind of screwed him over. He's trying to push this brand, the Big Baller brand or something like that, and asking for like $1 billion and a partnership with a big sneaker brand like Adidas and Nike, and that's just never gonna happen. Lonzo isn't even in the NBA yet. He's not gonna get anything until he proves himself on the court. And I know how it is. When I was younger, I was a quiet kid. I understand that you don't really want to go against what your parents are saying, and if your dad is pushing this brand on you, you kind of aren't gonna say anything about it. But I really feel like Lonzo kind of needs to break away from just all the BS that's going on and just kind of make his own way and do his own thing. I think that's important for him. So I don't know what's gonna happen. On the other side of the coin, if it wasn't for LeVar, we probably would still be hearing about Lonzo Lonzo, but it wouldn't be in the same sort of media blitz way that we've been hearing about it recently. I don't know, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Lee Sampson, you have some other great questions, but I really just don't have time to answer them all, so I'm gonna move right on into Llama Boy 30, and his question is, what is the one sneaker that means the most to you, and is there a reason why you love it so much? So there are a lot of sneakers in my collection that mean a lot to me, but this pair is probably the most sentimental, and it's not because of something that happened to the sneaker, it's because of what it stands for. I lost my mom to breast cancer about 1.5 years ago after she was battling it for about 3 years. In fact, that's one of the reasons that drove me to start this YouTube channel, because I just needed an outlet. I needed to do something to sort of keep me out of all the negative thoughts. And so I've always been a big fan of the Katie Ant Pearl line for that reason, and this is just my favorite iteration of that line, so this is why this shoe means the most to me. Moving right along to another question that hopefully leads to a less depressing answer. Hi Hong asks, hi from London, do you think there is more hype in the US than there is in the UK? I don't know, I guess. Atomics Martin asks, what do you think about the next Yeezys? I'm assuming you mean the 350 V3s or the 350 Blades or whatever you want to call them. And actually I did want to talk about this because I got a couple more questions about the Yeezy 350 V3s. In fact, one in particular from Abhijit Day, and he says, are the new Yeezy Boost 350 V3 leaked images legit? It's an interesting rumor, don't you think? That was his question, and honestly, I don't know. I'm pretty sure though that one of the Kardashians actually Instagrammed a picture of the Yeezy 350 V3s or the Yeezy Blades or whatever you want to call them. So I think there are at least samples out there in the world. I don't know if they're gonna get mass produced, but we'll see. The silhouette looks just like the Yeezy 350 V2s, except the knit pattern is a little bit different. It's a little bit more open and loose around the midfoot, so you get these holes to your foot or to your sock or whatever you're wearing under there, which I think is great for breathability. And honestly, I really do like the way it looks, so I'm hoping that they do eventually come out. I would really love to see a summer release or maybe before summer, because that just seems like a great summer shoe. There is another minor difference that some of you guys may have noticed. Rather than the pull tab being on the back of the shoe, there's actually 2 pull tabs, one on the tongue and one on the heel ankle area of the shoe. It's an interesting look. I don't think it changes the overall aesthetic of the shoe too much, so it's not really a big deal for me, but it's interesting to see that Adidas has moved the pull tab placement on just about every one of their silhouettes. I mean, overall, it's a dope shoe. I really dig the colors that have leaked so far, like that olive color and the triple white colorway I think are fire. I also like that because it doesn't have that stripe on the side, you're not gonna get this crazy, gaudy, contrasty color going on, like that orange on the gray belugas, which I think looks awful. That's an unpopular opinion, but I'm just being honest. But no, I really do hope these shoes come out. I think they look great. The second question from Atomics Martin is, what is your least favorite Ultra Boost and what's your least favorite Yeezy? I can't think of a particular colorway, but it's one of the Ultra Boost 2.0s in a crazy vibrant color. I just wasn't feeling those. And then for the Yeezys, it's gotta be the belugas. That orange stripe, man, I can't do it. Filippo Talenti says, if you were to choose between industrial designing or sneaker YouTube, what would you choose? Bear in mind you would earn the same. Keep it up, bro. Still much love from Italy. Thank you for the love, Filippo. I don't feel comfortable answering this because someone from work could watch this. So in that case, industrial design all the way. Sneaker YouTube. Michael Matiag says, would you do YouTube for less money or be a sneaker designer for a lesser known brand? Keep up the good work. Well, first of all, I really don't make much money from YouTube at all, and that's why I still have a main job. This is kind of my second hobby sort of thing. So because of that, I would definitely design sneakers. And honestly, a lesser known brand might actually be a better opportunity because you may have more opportunity to try new things and try things that are different. So that's actually a pretty sweet deal. Noah Hutchinson says, your favorite Adidas sneakers are Ultra Boost, so what's your favorite Nike sneakers? You can't include Jordans or Vapor Max. First of all, I wouldn't have included the Vapor Max regardless. I'm not a fan of that shoe. Favorite Nike? Probably the Air Max 90s. I really dig those shoes, for sure. James OV asks, what's the most iconic shoe ever? I don't know. Maybe Converse? I'm sure everyone knows what a Converse is. It's probably something else. I honestly don't know. Caden says, if you lost every shoe you owned and had $1,500, what would be the first shoes you would get with that $1,500? Keep up the great vids. Much love from Ohio. Appreciate it, Caden. Thank you so much for watching. If I had $1,500 to rebuild my sneaker collection, I'd probably get some pair of Ultra Boost, something for retail so I'm not spending crazy money. Probably the Bred ones because I love those shoes. Let's think, that's about $500 or $600 right there. for another 700 or 800. I would probably get the Crazy Explosive Lows for basketball. I don't know, maybe a cheap pair of dress shoes and then a pair of Yeezys to stunt in. I don't know. Lars Jorgen Friedheim says, if you could only wear one pair of sneakers for the rest of your life, which pair would it be and why? It would be an Ultra Boost because they're crazy comfortable. Derek Flores asks, how can you get limited shoes for retail if you live in an area that doesn't get any hyped shoes? That's a tough one, but honestly, probably only online. Jonathan Corbett asks, what top 5 non-Nike, Adidas, and Jordan shoes do you want? Honestly, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it would probably be a couple pairs of Vans, maybe a pair of Q4s because I've really been digging these recently. Maybe a pair of Sauconys. I really dig Sauconys, so yeah, probably a pair of Sauconys too. Julia Christina says, would you rather own 2 authentic pairs of Heat for the rest of your life and have them beat, or have all the Heat pairs but they're fake? I would definitely go with the 2 pairs of authentic shoes, for sure. And the reason I say that is because the reason shoes are hyped is because they're limited and no one has them. So if you're buying fake shoes, it kind of defeats the purpose and someone might call you out and you're gonna look stupid. Julia Christina also asks, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to sneakers? And it's gotta be fakes, for sure. Fakes can really screw you out of a lot of money, man. It sucks, I hate them. Trent Glidewell asks, what shoe release do you most regret passing on? That's actually an interesting story. Last year when they released the satin bread ones in Soho, I was actually walking past that Nike pop-up. I didn't know they were inside and I was considering waiting in line, but I was on my way to work and I was like, it's not worth waiting, you know, 30 to 45 minutes to see a pair of breads that I already have. So I walked away, and the line was pretty short. There was probably about 15 people in line at the time, and I missed out on the satin ones because of it. So that sucked. Peyton Ford says, in 25 years, which brand do you think will be #1? One of the big 3 or a different brand? Honestly, Nike is so far ahead, and even though Adidas is catching up, most of Nike's money isn't even made from the hype stuff, it's made from everything else. So I really wouldn't be surprised if it was still Nike. Jacob Olsen asks, if you could get 1 pair of Yeezys for free, what pair would it be? Turtle Dove 350s, no question. Zach, what's the first thing you think of when you hear of Australia? Kangaroos? Jamie Campbell asks, what shoe doesn't deserve its hype? Which shoe deserves more hype? Keep up the great videos. That's a loaded question. Doesn't deserve the hype? Yeezys, honestly, like they're way more hyped than they should be for what they are. Probably Yeezys, honestly. They're way more hyped than they should be, and I mean, half the people who buy them would not buy them if they weren't Yeezys. So, and as for what shoe deserves more hype, I can't really think of one in particular. I will say for brands though, I think Vans is a little underrated. I think people need to give it more of a chance. Not that it isn't crazy successful, but I'm talking about in the sneaker community. Krev Kid says, do you have the Soulbox Ultra Boost, and if not, will you buy it? Krev, are you trying to sell me the Soulbox Ultra Boost? Because if you are, give me a good price and I'll take them. Johannes J says, what do you reckon is the best black on black, triple black sneakers? Recently, in my opinion, it's the Ultra Boost 1.0s. Paul Respicio says, Mabuha from the Philippines. I'm so sorry, I definitely said that word wrong. What materials would you like to see more in shoes? And if you were to design your own shoes, what materials would you use? And what would be your base silhouette? First off, if I were to design my own shoes, I would create a whole new silhouette because that's the whole fun of it, creating the silhouette. And then material-wise, I'd say real leather, like authentic real leather. There's not enough of that in sneakers, at least not in most of the sneakers that are out today. You do have some really nice leather in designer brands and the more higher end brands, but if we're paying $400 for a pair of Jordans, we should be getting good leather. Also, I wouldn't mind some more suede. Michael Chan asks, did you play sports when you were a kid? Yes, I did. I played basketball from middle school through high school, not in college because I kind of sucked. And I also fenced for a couple years, I think end of middle school into like junior year of high school. And the battery died right in the middle of filming this video, so part 2. And the final question of the day comes to us from Nelson Pimento. Hey Seth, if you had to choose one store in New York to be where you get your kicks for the rest of your life, which would it be? You guys love asking those rest of your life questions, don't you? I would probably say Kith. Actually, you know what? They don't let you film in there, so it makes it really tough to film those sneaker shopping vlogs. Probably still Kith. That's pretty much it for the video today. If you guys want to have your questions featured on the next Q&A video or Q&A segment, make sure to download the Snupps app and follow me at Fowler Customs. There'll be links to do both in the description below. And then once you've done that, go to the FC Q&A shelf on my profile, click on the latest picture, and comment your questions underneath it. While you're there, make sure to check out the other shelves in my profile. I have a lot of different shoes that I've listed limited. I'm still trying to list all the sneakers in my collection, but it's a bigger undertaking than I expected. I do always post images of the sneakers that I'm planning to review next, so if you guys are interested in seeing what's next to get reviewed, make sure to check out my sneaker review shelf. So again, make sure to download the Snupps app and give me a follow. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to Fowler Customs if you want to see more content just like this, and follow Fowler Customs on Snupps, Instagram, and on Twitter.